Hi, I'm Wendy, and today I'm going to give you some tips on how to close your presentation on a high note. So, have you heard the old saying, leave them wanting more? Well, that's exactly how you should finish your presentations. So, captivating your audience and leaving a lasting impression on them is the ultimate goal when you're presenting. So, those closing moments are absolutely crucial to reinforcing key messages, evoking emotions, and ensuring that your audience leaves with a sense of inspiration and at least understanding. So you don't want them to think, well, that was a really lovely presentation, and then to go away and then, within 10 minutes after leaving, they've forgotten everything that you've talked about. So you want to end your presentation on a high note. Now, we always say this, my husband and I are a musical duo, and one of our rules is to start strong and finish strong. So I'm going to apply those same rules to presentations and public speaking. I'm going to give you a few tips today to show you how you can leave your presentation on a high note, excuse me, and make a very powerful and memorable impact on your audience. Okay, so the first thing is to recap and reinforce the key points. So summarize the main takeaways of your presentation. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to go and rehash every single thing that you've said. That's not the point. That would be repetitive and boring. So what you want to do though is select perhaps about 2 or 3 key messages and reiterate those key messages at the end. So be a bit judicious in your selection. You want the audience to remember to have some key takeaways when they leave. Reinforce those key messages to leave a very lasting impression. The second tip I'd like to give you is to end with a powerful quote or an anecdote. Now, I have talked before about starting your presentation with a story or with an anecdote or with a very powerful motivational or inspirational statement or even a shocking statement. Well, why not apply that same principle to the end of your presentation? You don't have to just do it at the beginning. You can do it at the end as well. So, conclude your presentation with a very compelling quote or a relevant anecdote or even a little story that ends on a very positive, upbeat. This can leave a very strong emotional impact on your audience and make your message that much more memorable. The third strategy I'd like to give you is what we call in the industry a CTA, which is a call to action. So once again, you don't want your audience to just drift off, forget about your presentation, not really have any takeaway messages, or not even having a call to action that you want them to take. So you want them to do something with your presentation. You don't want to just finish at that presentation point, at that end point, and then do nothing afterwards. So whether it's implementing a new strategy, adopting a mindset shift, or getting further information from you, a clear call to action motivates your audience to do something. And it's a very great way to end on a high note. So, it's lovely if they have a warm and fuzzy feeling about you. That's great. But we want more than that, don't we? We want them to take some sort of action. So what do you want them to take? Think about that, obviously, before you start or finish your presentation. You might want them to sign up for a course or a program that you're offering. You might want them to book a coaching call. You might want them to buy your book, contact your sales team, or write a positive review about them. Make it very explicit what you want them to do. Make that call to action your high note. An interactive closing, that's another strategy that I would recommend. So look, let's face it, nobody enjoys being talked at for hours on end. Audiences love the interaction with their presenter. Break down that fourth wall and interact. So you could have a Q&A, which is very popular. A lot of people do like to leave their questions until the end. You could have a quick poll or a survey, a quick discussion with your audience. Your audience likes to be involved. So get them on side, get them involved. They'll feel, it's quite dynamic. There's some action going on, there's some purpose, and they'll leave feeling like, it was a high note that they left on. The next and the last strategy that I'd like to talk about is to express your gratitude for their presence, their attendance. So thank your audience for their time and attention. Let's face it, the most valuable resource there is someone's time. They're giving up their time to be with you at this presentation. So express your gratitude for their presence, for their time. Express genuine appreciation for any interactions they have with you, any feedback they give you. Open the floor up to questions and comments and to invite that feedback. I think that fosters a certain sense of an interaction, demonstrates your willingness to hear them, that you value them, and that you want to engage that little bit further with your audience. Okay, so to conclude, think of your audience, and I go back to my analogies about music because I am a singer. So think of your presentation as a masterpiece symphony. Your presentation should rise to a crescendo. It shouldn't just whimper at the end. It shouldn't just drift off into nothing. You want to finish on a very strong and high note. So employing those techniques that I talked about will transform those final moments of your presentation into a very memorable experience, that high at the end, leaving a very positive and enduring impression that amplifies your message. So mastering the art of a powerful presentation is about mastering the conclusion, ensuring that your audience walks away not just informed, but inspired.